Good morning, class. Welcome to our class today. This is Mr. Nick. Now, I will be taking you through the general food analysis. Now, in a platform for our e-learning, I have uploaded and posted some notes, and also I've included the course description, the course objective, as well as the course content, which I think by now you're going through them, you know, and you're aware. Also, you're aware that you're proceeding from where we left from last semester. Again, I've also given various notes for continuation. Now, but for today, I want us to just mention something little for our video. Now, we want to define what we mean by a food analysis, and also we are also going to look at the importance of carrying out food analysis, as well as also we are going to look at the properties which are analyzing the food, and then finally we shall look at how to determine the moisture content as well as the percentage total solids in the foods. Now, how do we define food analysis? Now, food analysis basically refers to the investigation of the properties which are in the food, determine their quality. Now, what are the importance? Why do we normally do food analysis? Now, we have various reasons why we normally do food analysis. And number one is for authenticity. That is, we can mention as originality of the food. Also, we look at the inspection, we read for inspection and for grading. We also analyze the food for safety. Another one is for quality control. We want to know whether the food being processed and released into the consumer for the consumption by the consumers is fit or as a good quality for consumption. Another reason is to be able to develop or do research in that particular food item, because as time goes by, you may want to improve the quality of the food, or maybe you want to come up with another new product of the food in the market, which is unique. Remember, the main reason why we normally process the food is to ensure that we preserve them. They have a longer shelf life. Now, what are the properties we normally analyze in the food? Now, we normally analyze various properties in the food to help us understand or to achieve the value we have mentioned here. That is authenticity, inspection and grading, food safety, quality control, and for research development. Now, these are the main features we normally analyze in the food. Number one is the structure. The structure of the food, that is in terms of the molecular structure, or whether the food is microscopic or macroscopic. Now, when you talk about molecular structure, we're talking about the molecular components of the food. For example, the carbohydrates may be having carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and so on. Protein may be having carbon, hydrogen, sulfur, nitrogen, and so on. Now, when we talk about microscopic, we have some structural parts of the food which cannot be seen with naked eye. These, you can only analyze them using the microscope, while others you can do by use of the eyes, our naked eye, to analyze them. Number two, we also analyze the physical, chemical properties in the food. Now, this one includes the optical features, rheology, stability, and the flavor. Now, when we talk about optical property, we talk about the interaction of the food with the electromagnetic radiations in the field spectrum, so as to know and understand the main components of the food. Now, when we talk about rheology, Rheology basically means the shape. How the shape of the food changes as it goes through the process. That will help us to achieve our main objective here. Now, another one we also analyze in terms of physical chemical property is the stability or the flow of the food and also the flavor. Now, the last feature we analyze in the food is sensory properties of the food. Is in terms of taste and the aroma. Now, taste is perceived by the tongue, whereas aroma is perceived by the sense of the sense of smell, that is the nose. So we can do that one also to help us achieve this main objective we have mentioned as the importance of the food analysis. Now back to where we were last semester, because we are proceeding from last semester. We are looking at various ways we can be able to analyze the food. We are calling them proximate analysis. Proximate analysis. For example, you can determine the moisture content in the food, or you can determine the crude fiber, nutrient content of the food, the iodine value, and so on. Now, for our case for today, I want us to see how we can determine the moisture content in the food. We can determine the moisture content using these two main formulas. Now, we can determine the moisture content. Now, how do we find out the moisture content? Now, in determining the moisture content, we measure the weight of the food before drying and after drying, then get the difference in between, and then we divide that value by the value of the weight of the food before drying, and then multiply it by 100%. That is for moisture content. Now, for total solids, we determine by determining the weight of the dry food, we divide by the weight of the undried food, and then multiply by 100%. So we shall proceed from there in our next class. Thank you.